Good evening. It's an honor. It's really an honor to talk here, and I want to thank the organizers. I want to thank the listeners. I want to thank representatives of the diplomatic corps and representatives of churches, thanks to whom this event can take place. The Persecuted Gospel, that's the title of what I'm going to be presenting here, and I come here from the heart of Central America. I will speak on behalf of Nicaragua, a land to which I am no longer allowed to return. On the 20th of April 2018, while we were working at a radio station founded in 1949 by my father, Juan Toruño Calderón, we suffered an attack which completely reduced the station. Everything turned to dust, and we survived by a miracle. And this is the third exile of my life. I'm one of 94 exiles who were banished, stripped of our nationality, of our property, and in my country, exercising freedom of expression has become a crime. Now, Nicaragua is a nation, a country, where faith has always been a refuge, a source of strength and a source of hope. But faith today, painfully, has become also the target of persecution. My country is experiencing a systematic policy of repression that has impacted bishops, and priests, and nuns, that has desecrated sacred imagery, and silenced voices through exile, forced exile, and imprisonment. Many have been stripped of our nationality. It's like the identity wanted to tear our identity from our body, as if they wanted to tear away the skin from us. The Sandinista dictatorship has tried to uproot the faith of what is a profoundly Christian nation, but they failed. The regime of Daniel Ortega and Rosario Murillo, who consider themselves to be the absolute masters of the nation's destiny, has criminalized those who preach and those who pray for justice. In its effort to silence their voices, the regime has shut down at least 20 Catholic media outlets, not to mention independent media. The victims of repression are not only journalists and human rights defenders, but also the servants of God. According to the report titled Nicaragua, a Persecuted Church, which was compiled by researcher Martha Patricia Molina, since 2018 there have been 302 cases of religious men and women who were expelled, or banished, or forced into exile. These include 1 nuncio, 4 bishops, 149 priests, 132 nuns, and 3 deacons or seminarians, many of whom were later deported as if they were packages, without trial, without appeal. The report also documents more than 1,000 acts of aggression against the Catholic Church in recent years. It's a shameful war, a war carried out from the shadows. From its bunkers, the regime sends out heavily armored police and paramilitaries to harass and persecute and imprison and expel priests, whose only weapon is the Bible, and whose only crime is that in April 2018, when the people were being repressed, they opened the doors to their temples, to the wounded, to the orphans, and those fleeing bullets.
Today, Nicaragua is the only country where saints are also in prison, because even religious images have been criminalized. A total of 16,564 processions and religious activities have been banned, robbing thousands of the right to live their most cherished traditions. This year, during the Holy Week, the regime deployed an army of 14,000 police officers to block the most sacred processions which take place during Easter in my beloved country. In July 2022, the world watched in disbelief as a group of missionaries of charity, the order founded by Mother Teresa of Calcutta, was expelled without being allowed to collect even their personal belongings. Their crime was the following: feeding children, caring for the elderly, and accompanying the most vulnerable. Between 2022 and 2023, 65 nuns were expelled in the same manner. The regime also dissolved the Society of Jesus, confiscated all its properties, and expropriated the prestigious Central American University. It froze its bank accounts and expelled the priests from their residence, even though the property was not legally registered under the order. The regime falsely accused the university of terrorism for its alleged support of the 2018 civic protests. More than 5,000 students were left in uncertainty. The most symbolic case is the case of Bishop Rolando Alvarez. He remained firm in defending human dignity. He refused to abandon his people, which cost him a 26-year prison sentence. After 500 years in confinement, Bishop Alvarez was banished. His voice, like that of auxiliary bishop of Managua, Silvio Baez, exiled and threatened with death, continues to be a beacon of hope for the Nicaraguan people. In a recent homily, Bishop Baez delivered a clear message to the powerful in Nicaragua. He said, "Bishop is not on the side of those who use power to oppress. Their illegitimate power will sooner or later collapse when they push through their interests. God is not on the side of those destroying the future of nations. Their illegitimate power will end." The repressions are not limited only to Catholics. Dozens of evangelical churches were closed. Let me mention the case of Mountain Gateway Ministry. Many were persecuted. 11 pastors were arrested on charges of money laundering and sentenced to long prison terms. There was also harassment against indigenous Christian communities, such as members of the Moravian Church. Repression does not end at the national borders. The documentary Terror Without Borders, produced by Darío Medios Internacional, shows how the regime has extended beyond the borders of Nicaragua. Religious people living abroad, especially in Costa Rica, where I reside, are not safe either. They face surveillance, intimidation, kidnappings, attacks, and diplomatic pressure. Even in Rome, deported priests have reported monitoring and threats. Their families are also subjected to blackmail. We are facing a violent regime, internationally accused of crimes against humanity, which, despite its repressive machinery, has not succeeded in breaking the faith of the people. History shows that dictatorships that persecute faith eventually fail. The Church does not need weapons to resist. Truth, memory, and dignity are enough. Today I stand before you on Red Wednesday, a global initiative that raises awareness of religious persecution. Thank you very much for organizing this event. Let me thank the President, the Prime Minister, the Mayor, the Rector. Let me also thank the organizing institutions such as the Institute for Christian Democratic Policy, the Bishopal Conference, and the Ecumenical Council of Churches and the Federation of Jewish Communities in the Czech Republic. As director of Darío Medios Internacional, it is my responsibility to bear witness to the ordeal of the Nicaraguan Church. Those who pray are persecuted, those who preach are silenced, those who console are imprisoned. Images are desecrated, temples are surrounded, and faith is locked behind bars and decrees. Today, Nicaragua is a country where praying aloud can cost you your freedom, where wearing a cross can be seen as a threat, where victims, where Cassocks and the temples have become spiritual trenches. It is necessary to hear the voice of people who resist. Their only weapon is faith. Nicaragua is bleeding, but it does not surrender. The gospel is persecuted, but it is not defeated. Let me conclude by remembering our Venezuelan and Cuban brothers who are on the same journey and who talked about what they went through. The world has to do more now, in this important moment, which is very difficult for us. We are governed by narco states. It seems that things are worsening in our countries. The world needs to look at these countries and help them. I'm very grateful for this opportunity when I can come to Europe and talk to you in freedom. I would like to call upon you to be interested in what is going on in Nicaragua. What is happening to the Catholic Church in Nicaragua is unacceptable. When the Sandinist movement came to power in the 1980s, they said that they would hang all the priests. And now the situation is even worse. There are killings and people are imprisoned. The crisis is immense. It seems that the churches are turning into prisons. However, we want to celebrate our faith. Thank you.